You need to hear this if you care about how global power really shifts, because the United States is quietly intensifying its strategic attention on the Red Sea corridor, and the implications are spreading across Africa, the Middle East, and global trade. This is Berbera, and this is about power without noise. What if one of the most consequential shifts in US military posture in Africa was not breaking news, but strategic calculation? Not announced from capitals, not live on cable news, but unfolding quietly through port access, runway readiness, diplomatic tours, and regional cooperation. Tonight, we take you to Berbera, a deep water port on the Gulf of Aden, moving from strategic margin to geopolitical center. At the crossroads of the Red Sea, Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and one of the world's most trafficked maritime corridors, Berbera now matters. Because Washington's strategic gaze has expanded. Why is the United States intensifying focus on the Red Sea and Horn of Africa? What problem does Berbera solve that older logistics and bases no longer can? And how does this shift recalibrate power across East Africa and beyond? This is not speculation. This is strategic analysis. Welcome to Horn Lens, where signal always outweighs noise. If you want to understand geopolitics without the noise, to see the strategies shaping the Horn of Africa, the Red Sea, and beyond, and to focus on signal, not speculation, subscribe to Horn Lens. We provide calm, fact-based analysis that puts the world in perspective, not outrage in your feed. Turn on notifications, because in modern geopolitics, context is everything. Now, let's begin. In January 2026, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau toured Africa, signaling America's growing interest in the Red Sea and Horn of Africa. His stops included Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Djibouti, key players in regional security and trade. Landau was joined by top U.S. military leaders, highlighting the trip's strategic focus. The message: the U.S. is committed to protecting shipping lanes and countering threats like piracy and militant attacks. A pivotal meeting with the African Union Commission launched the US-AUC Strategic Infrastructure and Investment Working Group. This initiative aims to boost American investment in Africa, supporting major projects aligned with the continent's development goals. The US wants to offer an alternative to China's Belt and Road, emphasizing partnership and infrastructure. By visiting these countries, the US reinforced ties with security partners and demonstrated its intent to remain a key player. Ethiopia's inclusion signaled a focus on regional stability, not just military interests. The tour showcased a more active American strategy, seeking reliable partners and strategic locations in a rapidly changing world. The US is positioning itself as a long-term ally, ready to invest in both security and development. This new approach is about more than military might. It's about building influence through cooperation and shared interests. Landau's tour made clear that the US is adapting to new realities in the Red Sea region. The US is determined to maintain freedom of navigation and counter rival powers. By strengthening partnerships, America aims to secure its interests and support regional prosperity. The tour was a clear signal: the US is here to stay. As competition intensifies, American engagement in Africa is entering a new phase. The Red Sea's future will be shaped by these evolving alliances. Landau's visit marked the beginning of a more assertive US presence in the region. The US now sees the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea as one interconnected strategic theater. Instability in one area can quickly affect the entire region, especially with the Red Sea's role as a global trade choke point. Attacks by Houthi militants and ongoing piracy have made the waterway more dangerous. The US is responding by coordinating military, diplomatic, and economic efforts across the region. This unified approach allows for faster, more flexible responses to threats, on land and at sea. It also helps the US counter growing competition from China and Russia. China's military base in Djibouti and its infrastructure investments have raised the stakes. The US wants to avoid over-reliance on any single location, like its main base in Djibouti. By diversifying partnerships and access points, America strengthens its position and reduces risk. The strategy isn't just about military power, it's about building lasting relationships. The US is offering trade, investment, and development partnerships to show it's a reliable ally. This comprehensive approach aims to boost regional stability and prosperity, which in turn supports US security. America's new strategy is about flexibility, resilience, and influence. By treating the Red Sea as a single theater, the US can better protect its interests and those of its partners. The focus is on cooperation, not just confrontation. This shift marks a new era in US engagement with the region. The Red Sea's future will depend on how well these strategies are implemented. The US is betting that a broader, more integrated approach will pay off. The stakes for global trade and security have never been higher. Berbera's strategic value comes from two assets: its modern deep water port and its long runway. The port, upgraded with UAE investment, can handle the world's largest ships, making it a commercial hub for the Horn of Africa. For landlocked Ethiopia, Berbera offers a vital alternative route to the sea. The airport's 4-kilometer runway, originally built for the Cold War and later upgraded for NASA, can handle heavy military and cargo aircraft. This dual-use infrastructure is ideal for both trade and rapid military deployment. Berbera's location near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, where 10% of global trade passes, gives the US a critical vantage point. Access to these facilities allows for quick response to regional crises and supports humanitarian missions. The port and runway together make Berbera a powerful logistical center, outside the most contested zones, but close enough to matter. For the US military, reliable refueling, resupply, and staging options are essential. Berbera delivers all of this in one place. Its infrastructure is a key reason why Berbera is now central to America's Red Sea strategy. In a region full of uncertainty, Berbera offers stability and flexibility. The US isn't building a massive base in Berbera. Instead, it's pursuing a strategy of access and flexibility. This light footprint approach means using Berbera's facilities when needed, without the costs or complications of a permanent base. The US keeps its intentions ambiguous, giving it room to adapt as the situation evolves. No official base agreement exists, but strong partnerships with Somaliland's authorities ensure access if required. This is a shift from the US model in Djibouti, where a large, permanent base creates dependency on one host nation. By developing options like Berbera, the US diversifies its operational network. If problems arise in Djibouti, America has alternatives. This strategic optionality is now common in US military planning worldwide. Instead of expensive bases, the US secures access agreements and builds local relationships. This supports host nation sovereignty and strengthens partnerships. For Somaliland, the partnership brings international attention and potential benefits. For the US, it means security goals can be met without being intrusive. The strategy is modern, efficient, and adaptable to changing realities. Berbera's role is to provide flexibility, not a permanent American footprint. This approach balances US interests with regional sensitivities. It's a model for future US engagement in contested regions. The Red Sea is a battleground for influence, with the US, China, and regional powers all vying for position. China's military base in Djibouti and its Belt and Road investments have raised American concerns. The US worries China could one day control key shipping lanes or restrict US access. By partnering with Somaliland and gaining access to Berbera, the US reduces its dependence on Djibouti and counters China's influence. The UAE is another major player, investing heavily in Berbera's port and seeking both commercial and strategic gains. Sometimes the UAE's interests align with the US, but it also pursues its own agenda. Russia and Turkey are also seeking influence, making deals and seeking port access. This creates a complex web of alliances and rivalries. The US aims to build a network of reliable partners to maintain freedom of operation. Berbera is a key piece in this larger strategy. The competition is about more than trade. It's about shaping the region's future. America's goal is to ensure it and its allies remain influential in this increasingly contested space. The stakes for global security and commerce are enormous. Berbera's rise affects every neighbor in the Horn of Africa. For Ethiopia, it's a vital new trade route, reducing reliance on Djibouti and boosting economic growth. The UAE, through DP World, invested heavily in Berbera for both profit and strategic influence. The UAE's interests blend business and geopolitics, seeking to secure trade and expand its reach. Somalia's government in Mogadishu opposes Somaliland's independence and views deals over Berbera as violations of its sovereignty. This creates diplomatic tensions, especially as the US and others engage directly with Somaliland. For Somaliland, Berbera is a tool to gain economic strength and international relevance. Its leaders hope strategic partnerships will eventually lead to recognition, but this strategy risks angering neighbors and complicating regional relations. Somaliland must balance ambition with caution. Berbera's strategic location is its greatest asset and its biggest diplomatic challenge. For Somaliland, US interest in Berbera is a chance to gain recognition and investment. The territory has built stability and democracy, but remains unrecognized. By partnering with the US, Somaliland hopes to prove its value on the world stage. The rewards could be significant: more aid, investment, and security. Hosting US-linked facilities could deter aggression and boost Somaliland's standing. But the risks are real. Aligning with the US could draw the ire of rivals like China and anger Somalia's government. Somaliland could find itself caught in great power competition or regional disputes. Its leaders must walk a fine line, seeking friends without making new enemies. Berbera's rise is about flexibility and strategic partnerships, not massive bases. The US is adapting to a more complex world, using a light footprint to secure its interests. For Somaliland, it's a high-stakes gamble, leveraging geography for a shot at independence. The outcome will shape both Somaliland's future and the security of the Red Sea. The world is watching to see how this gamble plays out.